Imagine waking up tomorrow to the news that the money in your wallet, the savings in your bank account, has been fundamentally transformed overnight, not by inflation or economic collapse, but by a deliberate government-mandated shift designed to make your nation stronger on the global stage. This isn't a scene from a speculative fiction novel. This is the very real, very pivotal moment that Iraq is staring down right now, because the Central Bank of Iraq has just dropped a geopolitical bombshell by officially confirming that the foundational, structural phase of the Delete the Zeros project is now complete. Let that sink in for a moment. For years, this phrase has been a specter in the world of international finance, a promise of monumental change that always seemed to be just over the horizon, perpetually discussed, debated, and delayed. But as of this confirmation, the horizon has been reached. The tedious, complex, and absolutely critical groundwork of preparing the nation's financial infrastructure, its banking systems, its legislative frameworks, and its physical currency printing capabilities for a new, streamlined currency is officially done. This completion is not merely an administrative checkmark. It is the equivalent of a space agency confirming that the rocket has been fully built, every bolt tightened, every system checked and double-checked, and it is now sitting on the launch pad, awaiting only the final command for ignition. The Delete the Zeros project was always conceived as a necessary surgical procedure on the Iraqi Dinar itself, currency that has carried the heavy burden of its history in the form of 3 extra zeros on every single note. To understand the sheer magnitude of this change, we have to rewind the clock and look at why those zeros existed in the first place. Following the Gulf Wars and the ensuing decades of sanctions and conflict, Iraq's economy was shattered, and its currency's value plummeted. The Iraqi government, the central bank, in a move of practical necessity, began printing higher and higher denomination notes to facilitate everyday transactions in a hyperinflated environment. This led to the widespread circulation of notes like the 25,000 dinar bill, which, while numerically high, held a comparatively low actual value, creating a cumbersome and inefficient monetary system. Carrying enough cash for a major purchase could literally mean hauling around a bag full of banknotes, a system that was not just inconvenient, but also rife with opportunities for corruption, money laundering, and counterfeiting. The Delete the Zeros project, in its purest form, is the antidote to this decades-old problem. Plan is stunningly simple in theory, but breathtakingly complex in execution. Introduce a new, stronger dinar that simply removes 3 zeros from the old currency. So that 25,000 dinar note would become a 25 dinar note overnight. The value in your pocket remains identical the moment of transition. If you had 1,000 old dinars, you would receive 1,000 new dinars. The real magic, the part that has investors and economists around the world watching with bated breath, is what happens after this technical redenomination. By creating a stronger, lighter, and more psychologically potent currency, the Central Bank of Iraq aims to achieve several monumental goals simultaneously. Reduce the money supply in circulation, which is a classic tool for battling inflationary pressures. Dramatically increase the efficiency of financial transactions, both for the average citizen buying groceries and for large corporations conducting business, and most importantly, restore domestic and international confidence in the Iraqi dinar as a stable, reliable store of value. This confidence is the bedrock upon which foreign investment is built, and foreign investment is the lifeblood required to rebuild Iraq's infrastructure and diversify its economy away from an overwhelming reliance on oil revenues. The completion of this phase signals that the central bank is no longer just planning for a future possibility, it is actively and publicly preparing the nation for an imminent new reality. This is the calm before the storm, the final silent moment of preparation before one of the most significant monetary reforms in the 21st century is set into motion. Now, with the structural skeleton of the Delete the Zeros project firmly in place, the monumental question that hangs over the entire global financial community, from the Forex trader in London to the individual investor in North America, is a simple one: what comes next? The confirmation that this phase is complete is not the end of the story. It is the end of the prologue. We are now moving from the realm of theoretical preparation into the arena of tangible, high-stakes economic action, and the next steps are arguably the most consequential in this entire decades-long saga. The immediate hurdle, and one that the Central Bank of Iraq has been meticulously working to overcome, is the logistical Everest of a dual currency circulation period. For a predetermined amount of time, both the old dinar notes with their 3 zeros and the new, sleeker dinar notes will need to coexist within the Iraqi economy. This is a period of immense vulnerability, but also of incredible opportunity. The CBI, learning from the experiences of other nations that have undergone similar redenominations, has likely been stockpiling the new currency in secure vaults for months, if not years, ensuring there is no physical shortage when the switch is flipped. They will have to launch a massive public awareness campaign, educating every single Iraqi citizen, from the bankers in Baghdad to the farmers in the rural south, on how to exchange their old notes for new ones, what the new notes look like to prevent counterfeiting, and reassuring them that their purchasing power has not been diminished by this change. This is a test of national trust as much as is of financial logistics. But the true seismic shift, the event that the entire investment world is speculating about, lies in the subsequent phase, the potential for a revaluation, or what is often abbreviated as the RV. It is crucial to understand that deleting the zeros and a revaluation are two distinct, though potentially sequential processes. The redenomination is a technical adjustment, an internal housekeeping measure that simplifies the currency. A revaluation, however, is a strategic, market-driven decision to adjust the external value of that new currency against other global benchmarks like the US dollar. This is where the real economic transformation for Iraq begins. For years, the official exchange rate has been pegged at a specific government-supported level, while the value in the street, the actual market rate, has often been different. A successful redenomination paves the way for a managed float or a significant one-off adjustment of this peg to a much higher, more realistic value that reflects Iraq's true economic potential. And what is that potential? Look beyond the headlines of conflict and look squarely at the numbers. Iraq sits atop one of the world's largest proven reserves of crude oil, a resource that continues to be in global demand. Every single day, millions of barrels are extracted and sold on the world market, generating a constant, massive influx of US dollars into the country's reserves. This creates a powerful fundamental argument for a stronger currency. Furthermore, a higher value dinar would instantly reduce the cost of Iraq's imports, which range from essential food items and medicine to the machinery and technology needed for reconstruction. It would make the Iraqi people, in real terms, wealthier on a global scale, increasing their ability to purchase foreign goods and services. It would also make it significantly cheaper for the Iraqi government to service its external debt, freeing up billions of dollars that could be redirected into healthcare, education, and infrastructure projects. This isn't just financial engineering, this is nation building through monetary policy. The completion of the delete the zeros phase is the clearest signal yet that the Central Bank of Iraq believes the country's economic and security situation is stable enough to withstand the shockwaves of such a profound change. It is a bet on a more prosperous, self-sufficient future where the Iraqi dinar is not a symbol of a troubled past, but a beacon of a resurgent nation ready to claim its rightful place in the global economic order. The launch pad is ready, the countdown has effectively begun. So as we stand at this historic crossroads with the technical phase complete and the nation poised for the next great leap, it is absolutely critical to cut through the noise of speculation and understand the tangible, real-world implications of what is unfolding. The confirmation from Baghdad is not just a piece of financial news. It is a beacon that illuminates the path forward, revealing both the unprecedented opportunities and the very real challenges that lie ahead for Iraq and for anyone with an eye on its economic future. The ultimate success of this entire monumental endeavor hinges on a delicate, interlocking web of factors that extend far beyond the marble halls of the central bank. First and foremost is the political will. A currency is only as strong as the government that stands behind it, and for the new dinar to be perceived as stable and trustworthy, it requires a unified, functioning government in Baghdad that can pass supportive legislation, enforce financial laws, and present a cohesive vision to the world. Political instability or protracted disagreements between different factions could severely undermine the confidence that this monetary reform is designed to build, potentially leading to capital flight or a black market disparity for the new currency before it even has a chance to establish itself. Then there is the global dimension, particularly Iraq's relationship with the United States and the international banking system. Much of Iraq's financial infrastructure, including its primary account at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, operates within a framework heavily influenced by U.S. policy. A successful revaluation would almost certainly require, at a minimum, the tacit approval and technical cooperation of the United States Treasury, ensuring that the new exchange rate is recognized and integrated seamlessly into the global SPUFT system for international transactions. Furthermore, the lifting of the final remnants of international sanctions and the full reintegration of Iraq into the global economic community are not just symbolic goals. They are prerequisites for the flood of foreign direct investment that the country desperately needs to rebuild its non-oil sectors, such as agriculture, industry, and technology. This is the grand bargain that Iraq is offering the world: a stable, valuable currency in exchange for the capital and expertise to unlock its vast, untapped potential beyond its oil fields. For the Iraqi people, the human impact of this transition cannot be overstated. After decades of war, sanctions, and economic hardship, the psychological boost of holding a currency that commands respect on the world stage would be immeasurable. It would foster a renewed sense of national pride and optimism, a belief that the future can indeed be brighter than the past. It would empower local businesses to engage in international trade more easily and would make it cheaper for students to study abroad and for families to travel. However, this transition must be managed with extreme care to protect the most vulnerable in society from any short-term price disruptions or confusion during the exchange period. The central bank must be a pillar of clarity and support, ensuring every citizen understands the process and feels secure in their financial standing. The world is watching, and the stakes could not be higher. This is Iraq's moment to shed the economic baggage of its past and step into a future of prosperity and sovereignty. Delete the zeros. Completion is the key turning point, the event that future history books will point to as the beginning of a new chapter for the nation. The groundwork is done, the strategy is set, and the countdown to a new economic dawn for Iraq has officially begun. Now, this is where you come in. The story does not end with this video. It continues to evolve every single day. The information landscape is cluttered with rumors, hype, and misinformation, and your greatest asset right now is verified, timely, and objective analysis. If you found this deep dive valuable, if you want to stay ahead of the curve on the most breaking developments regarding the Iraqi Dinar revaluation, then you need to take action. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell right now, because my team and I are dedicated to being your most reliable source for clear, data-driven updates. We break down the complex geopolitics and economics into understandable insights so you can make informed decisions. The next major announcement could come at any moment, and you do not want to miss it. Subscribe, stay informed, and let's navigate this historic financial transformation together.